Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we are going to be looking at the question, is Shada canon? So, of course, we are talking about the Fourth Doctor story that was infamously not completed back in 1979 due to a strike that was happening, and has had several versions done since, with I think the definitive version being the 2017 release where they completed it with animation. I want to know whether or not you consider it canon to Doctor Who. I do. I consider it the 2017 version to be the canon version. That's the version that, to me, is canon. I do consider Shada to be part of Season 17. Everything that happens in Shada does happen. It goes from Horns and Nymon to Shada to eventually Leisure Hive. I'm guessing there's a bit of a gap between Shada and Leisure Hive. Now, there are so many different versions of Shada. Well, I shouldn't say so many. But with a couple different versions, too, you can kind of pick which one is your canon. Like, you can have the 2017 version canon, or you might consider the 8th Doctor version, the Flash movie that they did back in, like, 2003 or whenever it was. You might consider that canon. Or, I think there's a lot of people who may consider the canon is that the 2017 version is what happened originally, but because of the events of 5 Doctors, when the 4th Doctor gets time scooped up, right when he's on the gondola or boat or whatever it is he's on right there, when he gets swept up, that alters history, and so the 4th Doctor version of Shada doesn't actually happen because of the events of 5 Doctors, which leads, of course, into the 8th Doctor version. So because of the change in history in the 5 Doctors, the 8th Doctor version of Shada is what actually happens. I could see that being canon. Also fine. Some people might be like, well, the 2017 version can't be canon. Tom's old at the end in that scene. And I love that scene, by the way. But it can be canon because he's working inside the TARDIS console when Canon accidentally causes that little glitch when he connects it and you see the little explosion. I think that just aged him prematurely. Kind of like how the Doctor was using the TARDIS console in Time of the Doctor to cook the turkey. I think it's the same thing. He just accidentally was in the oven a little too long himself. And I think after that last little scene we see at the end of Shada, he went back and fixed it. So I think that's why it shows Canon accidentally causing the little explosion. That's to explain why he's older. So for me, I get some people might consider Shada just a fun little extra, a fun little bonus. Nice to be able to watch it as completed as we're ever going to get it. And that's fine if you feel that way. I'm not here to say anyone is right and anyone is wrong. And if you don't consider Shada canon, that's fine. If you do consider Shada canon, we're in agreement. The great thing about Doctor Who that I really love is the BBC never really comes out and says what is and isn't canon, like a lot of other shows. Like, you know, Star Wars, they're practically draconian about it. This is canon. This is not canon. This is not canon. This was canon, but now it's not canon. This is not canon, but we're going to bring it in and make it canon. You know, the sequel trilogies, it's all about the sequel trilogies, even though they suck. But the BBC's never really been big on that. They kind of basically let the fans make up their own individual mind what's canon. I mean, the TV show is pretty much canon. We get that. But, you know, it's kind of up to you whether Big Finish is canon, or if some of it's canon and some of it's not, because I'm sure some of Big Finish contradicts, and I know some of Big Finish contradicts. Some of the TV show and Big Finish contradicts. So it kind of lets you make up your mind between the books and the comics what you want to be canon and what you don't. I like that. I enjoy that. And, you know, the same way with Shada. I think it's up to you. And the other question that's part of this video is, do you consider Shada part of Season 17? I was talking with someone down in the comments the other day who was very adamant that it's not, and one of my other subscribers I know doesn't consider it part of Season 17, which is fine, by the way. But I personally do. I consider Shada part of Season 17 because it was intended to be part of Season 17. It was supposed to be the finale. Season 17, very much, it looks like Graham Williams really did come up with the idea of, okay, we only have, our budget's been slashed. What we're going to do is we're going to make 2 or 3 really good stories and have a couple 2 or 3 filler stories. And because of this, Shada is one of the ones that's supposed to be the tent poles of the season, but because of the strike, we didn't get that. So we got a lot of the not so great productions and not as many of the good productions, with the best one, of course, being City of Death. So it was intended to be part of season 17, and now that it's been completed with animation, I consider it part of season 17. I think that's being very respectful of Graham Williams and what he wanted. I'm pretty sure he was probably unhappy. I mean, I don't know. Graham Williams has passed away a long time ago, so I don't know if he ever publicly said his thoughts on the issue, but I'm sure he would have wanted to have seen it and gone out with that big, wonderful, well-budgeted for Doctor Who story being his swan song instead of the Horns of Nimon being his swan song. So I consider it, I think it's a good way to honor Graham's memory, to consider it part of season 17. Because, again, it was supposed to be, I think a lot of it will determine, I think a lot of it, for me, will be whether or not Shada's included on the season 17 box set, because rumors are still swirling. Listings are showing up for the season 17 box set in the collection. And whether or not Shada is on it, I think will give us a good indication of what the BBC thinks of whether or not Shada is part of season 17. I hope Shada's on there. I want it to be on there. And whether it'll only be the 2017 animation or whether it will be the other versions as well, because a lot of the other versions did come out during the Wilderness Years. They may want to save those for the Wilderness Years box set. I don't know. But I would like to know whether you consider Shada part of season 17 or not. And if for some reason you don't, I'd like to know why. I personally do. I do, because it was intended to be, and now that we have as complete a version as we're ever going to get, I see no reason not to include it as part of season 17. So that's my thoughts on it. So tell me what you think of Shada down in the comments below. I think it's a fantastic story. I love Douglas Adams' sense of humor. Other things to do: click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon page. If you like what I do and want to support what I do, and if you're interested in any of the tiers I offer and any of the behind the scenes and bonus content I offer, there is a link to that down in the description below. But most importantly, thank you for watching.